Stop talking.
Correct, hit the bottom. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being there. So we are recording the meeting today. It's March 10. Oh, sorry, in the agenda it says February 10, but it's March 10. I guess that we can change that. I hope so. So, well, we know that Kit couldn't make it today, but she sent the report. Although before we go into that, I want to ask everybody if you read the notes from last meeting. Any comment about the notes? Any observation? No?
Look good to me.
Okay, so we have anybody
I
motioning?
move that we accept the minutes/notes.
Second.
Perfect. And second, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No? Okay, so we have the notes approved. Thank you very much. Also, Kit submitted her report. Did you read the report, guys?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes?
She's been a very busy woman.
Are we going to discuss the report or?
No, I just wanted to know if you have any to comment of the report or if we can go directly to the master plan or if
I think
anybody.
it's worth discussing aspects of her report. It's up to
Okay.
you when you want to do that in the meeting. Do you want to do it now? Do you want to do it after we discuss?
Well,
the master
we
plan?
had it in the agenda before talking about the master plan, but we can, because basically what we have in the agenda for today is to see the report that we already have it, talk a little bit more about the next step for the master plan and the reports of the committees. So,
I don't know where the report is. She mentioned it with the agenda, but I did not.
It's
didn't
on the
look-
county, on the city website. That's,
Right. Under agendas?
If you go to the link that is in the email from her, it will take you to the city page where you can see the agenda and you can see the director report.
yeah, if you click on the calendar where it says the Arts Commission, it will give you the Zoom link and below that, you will see the attachment and the attachments are the agenda. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going through the drop down, not the calendar listing. Okay, I'm still getting a handle on how things moved. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, I don't know, do you have a proposal, Ward? Do you
Well,
want us?
I'm trying to imagine if Kit were here
Mhm.
with us, wherever here is, what our, response would be to what she had just said, which would be what she has written here. And so I thought that getting everyone's, perspective on it, would be.
On the report.
Yeah, on the report. But if other people want to wait till, next month, till, she's at the meeting or however, I don't want to be the only person who says one thing or
No,
another.
that's fine, except for Lisa, everybody else read the report?
Yeah, I think that I love the fact that she's really connecting with Bard. I was a little, and not taken aback, but just kind of like, okay, how are we going to show Bard students? Shouldn't we be focusing on maybe Bard students that are from Kingston? If they had talked about doing some exhibitions or something like that. But I thought she was, I think she's doing a great job. She seems to be out there and meeting everybody, and that was what my takeaway was.
Thank you. And do you have any comment?
I think Kit's trying to establish herself in the community, and I think that will be an ongoing thing. And she is actively reaching out. Again, my bias is to Kingston, so I do agree with Susie on that, if we are working with BARD, which is great, and we have worked with them before in the past, we focus on Kingston
On Kingston.
residents. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well-
I guess that, I mean, we can give her feedback of what we see on this, and also
Mhm.
if eventually we would like, because as you say, and she's connecting with the community, and, you know, also if eventually we have suggestions that we would like to establish also those conversations or collaborations.
And I know Maria Elena, she's trying to establish the idea of interns from BARD, which I think is a great idea. The Justice Center did that. As you know, you and I were at one of those meetings where interns from BARD had really made a difference at the Justice Center. So in that sense, we're all connected, and it is an educational, an important educational institution in our area. So I'm all for that. But again, I'm very Kingston centric. I say that to everybody.
Yes, Lisa.
Yeah, I just read half of the report about what you're speaking about with BARD. And I agree, you know, about the Kingston Center, but I also think it would be great for the city to offer programming to our residents that BARD could provide, perhaps the musical performances, providing that access, if it's like free concerts, to give more of that, the culture of classical music, education to the community. I think people would respond positively to that.
Agree.
Peter, you being a BARD graduate, do you have any thoughts?
Yay, Bard.
That's an unbiased comment, right?
Yeah. Yes, my daughter goes to BARD, so
Oh, nice.
it's
That's
in
great.
the family. She's doing her master's degree there. Right?
That's excellent. No, it's a great school, and I know that they're interested in connecting with our community. You know, they have a great program with Kingston High School, Brothers at Bard. They have Sisters at Bard now too, and it's really great mentorship programs. I know that there's a great interest in the BARD Kingston connection. So any way that we can be a part of it, I think we should try and be a part of it.
Yeah, they also do education at Kingston Library too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a free continuing education program with the Kingston Library.
It's great.
Mhm.
I was interested in the offer from the vice president. I can't remember her exact title, but it was like vice president for development to help groups in Kingston with their fundraising efforts. And because it happens, among other things, to be part of the master plan. And I'm like, oh, here's a way we can fulfill one of the aspects of the master plan. I have to say, I was a little more interested in that than I was in showing the work of MFA students in the gallery in City Hall. But I think that it showed that BARD is, continues to be, wants to be involved. And I thought strategically to have the president, at the meeting, couldn't do better than that. It's like, we're really serious about this.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's going to be that Kit is going to be doing a similar outreach to SUNY New Paltz.
Yeah, it is my understanding that because she also want to, and I think that with SUNY Ulster too, she wants to connect with the education institutions that, that are around Kingston and that many of our Kingston residents attend or go or are related. And, what I see is that definitely she's trying to make those connections and see if there are a collaboration that can be established. And also, I guess that you guys saw that she is making a connection between what she's doing to the different areas in the master plan. So she's trying to definitely use the master plan as the guideline, for her in establishing those things. Obviously, this report, she's telling us what she has done in the last 30 days. And we will see that list growing. Well, I don't know if growing, but also see other connections, etc. So I think it's a good, at least to me, I really like the connection with the education, the formal education institution. And I think that also we need to do that with the high school and also with the non-formal ones, you know, like I don't know, the Draw, Matt, Cornell, or because anyway, we really want to connect with everybody in the community and to see the different ways that Kingston can be benefit from all that. So
I think that's a very important point, Maria Elena, that getting more acquainted with the arts organizations in the city and what their needs are. You know, it's one thing to have it generalized, you know, all brought together in the master plan, but for KIT to have a better idea of how some of this works within individual organizations or with the meeting with the History Alliance of Kingston. You know, with those sorts of things, to hear directly from the people running these organizations about how the city can best engage with organizations.
yeah, definitely, I agree. I think it's important because it's not only art. We talk about culture, and arts and cultures, and everything gets also related to that. So that's good. That's good. So any other comment on regard to the report or question maybe? Yes.
I was very happy to see that Novo is poised to sponsor again for 75K. That's great. I mean, it's really, really
as they should, right? Yeah.
well, you never know with funding, so to see
Well,
that
that's
actually
good.
down there is really a great thing.
To see how much that he made this year in his investments.
Well, those are very different pots. I mean, I
No,
know,
meaning that Peter, I know, for a fact that Peter gets his money directly from his father, from his investments, and when his father does well, he
He
does well.
receives more. Yeah.
okay.
We
But
do well.
75,000 is a drop in the bucket for them.
We're grateful for every dollar that they give us.
Yeah, we're most grateful.
That's good. That's good. And we need to make sure that the investment really replicates and favors Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I'd just like to make a comment about KIT's
Sure.
work in the outreach. I'm really interested to see the interface between the county and the city from that arts and cultural perspective, and how they could work together. I'm having meetings with Ulster County officials on behalf of MAD, and they're really poised to work with us in terms of economic development and workforce training. So I'd like to see how the city could be a part of that with the county's efforts.
Could I speak to that, Lisa?
Yeah, sure.
I talked to Kit yesterday, and we've been invited to come to the county offices, and I was going to include you in this conversation, hopefully next week. So when I set a date, I heard from Pat Ryan's chief of staff yesterday. So I think this is going to be a very powerful merging of the forces, and it's just something we've always wanted. And it was, in fact, when I was on the master plan commission, as you were, for collaboration, that was our particular group. It was Kevin O'Connor who said to me, off the grid, not during the meeting, we had a conversation after the meeting, and he said, Anne, until you get the county and the city and all the organizations on one page, this master plan is not gonna do what you want it to do. And we all
I don't know if in the same page, but if at least we are in the same book, it will
Oh,
be
yeah.
very good.
Well, yeah, but knowing that we know each other and what our intentions
Yeah.
are and why this is important on a number of levels. It's not just important for the well-being of our community, it's also economically very
Absolutely.
important for the
Absolutely.
county.
And the legislature too. I think that Peter wants to, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to come to that meeting if possible, because I sit on the legislative committee, which actually funds the arts in the
Okay.
county. So
If it makes sense, Peter, I'll let you know.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Lisa,
Cool,
could you give us, you were talking about how the county and the city could work together and workforce development. Could you give us some examples? I have to say I'm not very smart about these kinds of things, about what could happen.
Well, I mean, I can only really speak from my perspective, working from MAD, from the MAD place. You know, I had a meeting today with Tim Wiedemann, Office of Economic Development, and we were talking about, because we have our teen workforce program, the PUG program, and we have an initiative to have internship placements within creative businesses for our PUG students to be working in the field, and it really is like the first installment of what we would like to see from MAD, of professional development and workforce training for the emerging and established artists. And you know, we're doing that through the Draw education program and through PUG, and perhaps it could expand to a larger community. And I think that the county working and the city working in tandem with that will really help in terms of job growth and job placement of our constituents that are here now. And just
So what would be
helping
an
them.
agency that a county agency that a PUG student could intern at?
In an agency in the county or the city?
County.
I don't know. I don't know what that looks like.
Oh,
that's
okay.
where the-
I
I mean,
thought
and the
you had
thing
it in
is-
your mind and you were going to go and say,
No.
"I want you now."
Well, right now they're helping us with funding to do it, to work on our own initiative,
Okay.
reaching out to the businesses. But you know, this is just the beginning of a conversation that
Okay.
Tim and I were both really like, yes, we are going to meet again. There's a lot of potential here, and having Kit involved with that too, to help provide that sort of resource from that framework. Is what I'm most interested in. That's where I see the relationship there. And he was talking about long-term funding in terms of that. And MAD, that's where we're going. Yeah. So
Okay,
I'm not
thank
sure
you.
what that looks like yet, but it's got a lot of promise. So we'll see.
Okay, thank you very much.
It would be great if the county, maybe not to have like an art department, but it would be great to have something at the county level that can support somehow the city arts and culture department. But I don't know how that's gonna look like either. So we'll
Right.
see. Yes, Susie.
It would be nice if they could expand the tourism department to include arts and
I was
culture.
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
I
although
agree.
apparently, yeah, the visitor centers, did anybody remember that in one of the meetings we talked about if the visitor center was closed? Because it's a county building and it depends on the tourist, but it was also
It's
for,
a city
for the city.
building.
It's a city building?
Yeah, it's a city building, but the county uses it as their,
Oh,
Awesome.
okay, exactly. But it was closed for the tourism, or do you know anything? No.
I don't. Peter, do you know anything?
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I don't know anything about that.
Okay. So I need to find out about that. So, okay, so I would like to go to the meat of our agenda, if we can call it that way. Sorry for the vegetarians and vegans. So guys, congratulations again. We got the master plan approved unanimously. That definitely tells us not only that we have a responsibility, but we have a huge support, at least from the Common Council, right? So it's not only to have something being adopted, but to be, completely embraced in this way, I think is quite a commitment. So it's something to celebrate, but at the same time, Okay, it's time to, to pull the sleeves. We need to be serious with the work. I hope that all of you have the master plan in front of you or next to you, or if you took a look at it, or at least to review some of the a few of the hundreds of pages that we have there. And then the question will be, we all obviously, I don't know, I'm gonna speak for myself. I want all the areas definitely to be prioritized, but we cannot do everything at once. So eventually, thinking in the implementation of the plan, I think it will be important that the commission can somehow think in different, in a few priority areas. Although we also have in the plan some goals that we call short-term, long-term, or medium-term, things like that. But many of them, even if they are in the short term, I don't know if they are the priority for us, or we can do that, but that doesn't mean that those goals that are long-term are not a priority. I hope that that makes sense. So I wanted to know from you if there anything that you think need to be prioritized, if something that eventually comes to mind, or if we want to have like a general approach and establish, I don't know if to call it a committee, another committee for this, or if the commission as a whole is gonna take a little piece of the master plan, each one of us. But I wanted to hear your feedback.
I guess I don't want to ask a stupid question, but they say there is no stupid question. What exactly in your mind is the function of the commission in relation to the master plan, specifically in terms of implementation?
Well, I think that the big one, obviously, is somehow, well, I don't know if it's obviously, but for me, the big and the less involved of all is at least to make sure that it's happening, right? In a broad point of view, like to somehow, I'm not gonna say that we are gonna police in people to make sure that they do what they have to do, but that definitely if we came up with this plan, we want the plan to be implemented. But there are many things in this plan that involve way too many people than just the commission, right? So we are gonna oversee the implementation. We are going to work with different committees, that's for sure. We are going to establish collaboration. We are going to support KID and the city in the part that they have to, because she definitely has the I don't know if the burden of, but she has the application part, the day-to-day of the master plan is basically on her plate, right? But we are not only an advisory board for this, but we are a support group for all these initiatives, and also to take part of the responsibilities that eventually we can do. We can establish connection, we can work with the committees, we can, you name it.
Okay, so
each one of us has a set of skill or a set of connections. So maybe there's people that will love to be more connected, or that is going to help with the economic part of the aspect of the master plan, or maybe more like in my case, or my baby is the DEAI part of the master plan. I'm not saying that the rest is not important, but I think that I will be more efficient in that part. Peter, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I have always been nervous about the implementation of this plan. I love it. I love that we got it done, but it's always been just a little thing for me of like, okay, so the date is going to come when the plan is approved, and then how's it going to happen? So even as you're talking, everything feels like it's sort of splayed out. Oh, somebody's going to do this. Somebody might do that. Somebody will pick up this piece. That makes me extremely nervous. I feel like there has to be some sort of whatever we're calling it, a tracker or something where we're saying, okay, here's all the things that we're talking about doing. Here's all the deliverables. Who's going to be accountable by what date? I just feel like if we don't have that kind of micro view on it, it's just going to dissipate into the air. And maybe that's just me being nervous
But
about it. But
that's why we're having this conversation, because obviously we need to then come with the actionables, and who is doing what and when. But, we go from the macros to the micro.
I was a big fan of actually having a small committee of the Arts Commission being the ones who really monitor that, maybe come up with a master sheet of, working with Kit, figuring out, okay, we're tracking all this stuff. I mean, the deliverables are quite clear, there's 84 of them or whatever there is in that, I mean, it would be very easy to put that into some sort of form to work through.
Yeah, I think, I'm a grant writer. So when you submit a grant, you have to submit a work plan. The master plan is the narrative. It talks nicely about how, everything that you want to do, but then you have your work plan that lists all of the deliverables. It lists your measurable outcomes, who's going to do that, and when are you going to do it? What's your timeline? So I really think another document, and it doesn't need to be 137 pages, but there really needs to be some kind of a work plan or, logic model that's going to show how we're going to do it, who's going to do it,
Right.
and when they're going to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely the how, because the master plan when we were somehow separating the priorities with the goals and more or less who will be involved in general terms and what was the outcome expected from that. It doesn't say the how. And I guess that the implementation plan is part of that how. I know, Peter, I shared your your, I don't know if concern, but nervousness. And yes, we talk about a committee, but also I think that we all somehow need to be involved. That doesn't mean that we cannot have an ad hoc committee, or if we really want to create a master plan committee that is going to be tracking the thing like more regularly. But I also would like to see every commissioner taking part on the implementation. Yes, Ward.
I think that having looked at the master plan prior to the meeting and feeling scared again, that I think we need to do, I don't know who, first of all, I don't know who's supposed to do what on this, but I think that to sit down with each page of the master plan together and say, I say, I think that number 2 is the most important thing here and we should prioritize that. And someone else says, well, I don't agree with you. I think that it's number 1 and this is my reason. That unless we all hear one another about what the different aspects are, what the priorities are, I don't know how we proceed into the plan.
I think we need to have a retreat. And
I've been asking for a retreat for quite some time. That's true.
well, this
Is Peter going to be baking for it? So,
I've been dying to ask what you're baking.
Brownies.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh, I can smell it.
but I think that we really need to set aside one day that, we focus on this and we can really bang it out. And I think one of the ways to look at it is to take those 4 different groups that we had, the policy and funding, the DEIA or DEAI, and those 4 groups, and maybe at least we have those separations that we can do, take each one of those and look at them and see how we're going to meet those deliverables. But I really think a retreat would be the most efficient way to do it.
Susie, where do you think, or everyone else too, please, one of the major suggestions earlier on in the master plan was this creation of an arts and business alliance. How important do we think that is, and where does it fit in the timeline?
I think that that would be maybe something that we talk to Ward Todd about. They already have a business alliance. Is that something where, I mean, and there are arts and culture organizations that are members of the chamber. So do they have a subcommittee that is an arts and culture business alliance?
I think we may have someone in this group who's a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And what are you thinking? What do you think about?
It's really important, actually. And I think that when politicians think about funding, the business aspect and what you bring to the economy is a really important part of the equation. And I think that the more links we can make with the county, and Ward Todd is part of the county, and some of you were there when we got the Arts Small Business of the Year award in 2019, pre-COVID. I found that to be a very positive experience. And in fact, that's when I really was able to look Pat Ryan in the eye and say, yeah, the arts really make a difference to our community. And I think he heard me, because I used to chase him around town. He didn't know who I was. He was this maniac for the arts. But yeah, no, of course I do. I think it's enormously important. And what Lisa was talking about earlier is also important as we branch out and we think about this in the bigger picture, that there are many businesses that can offer internships and experiences in what it is to have a creative life. And I happen to know that everyone we hire pretty much is an artist, and especially in our office. And they manage to have work that they like, but also continue their creative life and have conversations. So, the flexibility of thinking of how you want your life to unfold. And the PUG does a really good job. I mean, the PUG program, what in fact they're doing is exposing teenagers to what it is to have a life in art, whether as an artist or running a gallery or just participating in creative thinking and the creative economy. So I think
but I don't hear you.
Important.
But I don't hear you saying that in order to have our retreat, we should first create an arts and business alliance.
No, I think the retreat comes first. And
Okay, that's why I wanted to just.
I'm all for this retreat. I think the sooner the better, whether we need to have it in a field or in a house.
I'm glad that Rennie is joining us, because I have a question. Thank you, Rennie, for being here. As you may know, guys, Rennie has been named our liaison with the Common Council, right? Is that the right word? So we are going to have Rennie every month with us, hopefully, or at least as many as possible. So, Rennie, you know the connection, not only the connection of the different commissions with the city, with the Common Council, how they are supposed to work, or what is allowed, what is not, all those things, I'm assuming. So I understood at some point, somebody told me, I don't know which of you guys, that if more than 3 or 4 commissioners get together, that means that it's a public meeting. So it needs to be made a public meeting. The public is open to come or not, it is on them, but we need to make that a public meeting. So if we want to do yeah. If we want to do that sort of like a long session. I don't know how long it could be, but at least 4 hour, a working session in which we are diving very deep into the master plan and, look at who takes what should convert, how it's gonna look this way or that way, because in 1 hour, once a month, it's hard to really get into that deep. So if we schedule that retreat, what will be the right way of doing?
Well, first, I apologize for being late. I can't see. I went to the ophthalmologist today, so everything is fuzzy to me. But and I think it's affecting my brain too. But anyway, I was a little worried when he used the syringe to put the stuff into my eyeballs. But yeah, needle that long. Does that make sense to you? It's like, anyway, that's what it seemed. So the issue in terms of open meetings laws is that you can't have a quorum meet if you're going to discuss policy. So if you're meeting, say, at the other extreme, it's like if you're all at a cocktail party together and you're talking about whether Roman Abramovich should be precluded from his ownership of the Chelsea soccer team in England, no problem at all, right? Now, you can get into some gray area, of course, because you might be talking about the arts, but if you're not talking specifically about here's policy that we want the Common Council and the mayor to adopt, then you're on safe ground.
Okay.
The other thing is what are they going to do to you if you do break the rule?
Well, but I don't want to test them how far they can do or not, but just to feel comfortable, because if we need to just post it and let everybody know that we're going to meet for 4 hours, I'm fine with that. But the concern is that eventually somebody would like to come, and then the 4 hours are not going to be diving into the master plan, but maybe answering questions to the public, and maybe that's not the event that we would like to have. Yes, Susie.
I think that if people, obviously we are going to be talking about policy. So this has to be open to the public, but people can come and listen. They just can't contribute. So I don't have a problem with somebody sitting there listening to us talk. It's just that they can't, they can't make comments. They can't make suggestions or anything like that. And is somebody going to want to come and sit for 8 hours at an arts commission meeting?
No,
And that's true. The other thing is, if you have it somewhere, it's going to be, like I believe Anne was talking about in a field. It's unlikely that you're going to get other people showing up. I mean, how many people have you ever had show up to listen in the last 2 years since you've been online?
No, definitely that's not the case. But I guess that also part of my concern was like, so then we need to do it enough in advance, posted in the city calendar. I don't know, all just the plan. But it may not be as complicated as it look like. Maybe the complication will be when all of us, we can take a full day or a half day to really dive into the master plan. And then, well, if we have to make it public and maybe we need to post it with 30 days in advance in the calendar, that's the kind of complication that I was like, oh, damn, so we need to do this. And if eventually we couldn't make it, or I don't know. Or if eventually somebody decides to come and join us.
Well, and what secrets are you going to have? Are you planning an overthrow of the county government?
No. It's not a secret. Quite the opposite. I just wanted to make sure that we do it the right way and know that after we are in that thing, eventually, oops. It's just to to be. I don't know if to call it to go by the book, as they say, but to try to follow the rules. But definitely.
I think what Susie was saying is, that's the crucial thing. You're having a business meeting of the committee. And so if somebody else does show up, you can politely tell them this is a business meeting. We're here to speak. This is not a public hearing. So you're welcome to listen, but you
But you
may
cannot
not
speak.
participate.
Well,
And the
that was,
crucial thing is, I'm not sure what the lead time is for a commissioner or board, but I know with the Common Council, when we're going to have, if we're going to have a special meeting, it's 5 business days in advance. So another thing that you can do would be to have it publicized 6 days in advance. You know, I mean, if you got any great worry that somebody's going to show up and disrupt, you know, which, I mean, I have a hard time imagining, but the person to really speak to there about where you need to publicize it to is Elissa Tenti, the city clerk.
Elisa,
'Cause I'm
okay.
not sure, I doubt you all would have to put a public notice in the newspaper.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I just simply didn't know how to, was not sure what was the thing. But again, the hardest part is what is the day that we all can get together, because I think it's important that if it's not all of us, no, it need to be all of us.
But let's do a doodle
I-
poll.
I do
And
want to
see.
offer up, if it works out date wise, I can offer up the center for us to meet.
Perfect.
Right. Thanks, Peter.
That's good. That's good. Can be a Monday, a morning or an afternoon. I don't think it need to be the full day. And also we may need time to digest things or to, I don't know. But also I would love for everybody to really give a full read to the master plan and take notes and come already with something. So in the discussion, we can, you know, try to move forward.
What is the intent in terms of a printed version of the master plan?
The printed version.
Is there an intent to have a printed version of it?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that there were some printed versions that were delivered to specific persons, but I'm not sure if we want, you have one, yeah. I don't know if there was a consideration to eventually have, so anybody could ask for a copy or something like that.
We had
Um,
talked about it at one point.
Yeah.
Like maybe having, oh God, the copy place that escapes me, Color Page,
Color page.
doing some, but you know, if it's only, you know, 10 copies or whatever that we need, that probably wouldn't be, you know, cost effective to have them. I mean, they could do it at City Hall.
No, I'm just thinking it's a powerful document. We want people to read it, but we also want them to respect it, you know, to respect the effort that it took, what's inside. And I still think, you know, I think that, and it could be that I'm old and happy to be corrected on this.
You want to
that when
touch
you-
it?
No, I love it. I love a printed edition. I think it's a great idea. If
Yeah.
you want me to go over and talk to Frank at Color Page, I would suggest 100 copies.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that we were also waiting for the final approval in case that the Common Council had any
Said no.
observation. So
Yeah.
we were not printing, but now we can say, okay, this is what is approved. Maybe we can have 100 copy of that, you know.
And you know, some of us may be willing, you know, if there's no money in the budget for arts and culture, you know, some of us may be willing to give a little bit of money toward the printing of it.
I
Yeah,
think it's
maybe we can
important.
explore that possibility.
Um,
100 copies sound.
And we had
No.
talked about maybe having Color Page, you know, on the back of it or something saying, you know, sponsored by Color Page.
If they give us a reduced rate, which they probably will. I'll talk to Frank tomorrow,
Oh, thank
And-
you, Anne.
see what he says. And let's get this going, because I think that every common council member should have a copy of this, as well as county and the staff there, heads of departments should be looking at it.
What, the Common Council, all of them have a hard copy.
They do already.
Yeah,
Okay,
they do have.
good. I think it's important. It's not that old fashioned word.
Well, I think that it's important too, and if we're gonna form an alliance, those members would also need to get a hard copy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
that's
actually
what-
not positive that the Common Council has a hard copy. It may be confusing it because we had two to consider that night.
And the legislature, Peter, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I just add one thing? We're talking about
Sure.
these business alliances. I know that we're talking about the Ulster County Chamber of Commerce, but I'm also a member of the Kingston Uptown Business Association. And I know that there's also a Downtown Business Association. I think there's one in Midtown.
There is.
One in Midtown.
I definitely think that we should
That is
make
perfect.
alliances with the local business alliances as well.
Totally.
There is also the Business Alliance of Kingston, which is supposed to be, I don't know how active they are now that Pat Courtney is.
It's actually the Midtown Business Alliance. They took
MBA.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the heads of the cultural organizations in the city should be getting this too. To kind of bring to a board meeting and say, just want to tell you about this. And, there are things in here that are relevant to our organization. So, maybe we start with 100 or maybe we start with 200. But I do think,
I hear you. 200 copies. It's really the setup that is expensive.
Right.
It's not really the printing.
Right.
So we'll decide on a good number once.
It really helped because, I'm also old school and, yes, in a PDF, and also if the PDF has more than 100 pages, to go back and forth on the pages is like, oh my God, like, physically you can go immediately. It definitely has, yeah.
but you can search with the PDF.
Yeah. That's cool.
Well, everything has the pros and the
Have
cons,
both.
but we have, exactly, we can have both copies.
Yeah.
So that's
Look
good.
behind me, books, real books.
And, just to go with the pages, it's a different vibe. So going back to the retreat. So thank you, Anne. I think it's important if you can, if you can ask color copy for that, will be great. Peter, if we do the retreat at the center, what would you suggest is the best time to do that?
Day of the weekend time.
Yeah, I'd have to just think about that a little bit. And also,
Weekend?
I think a Sunday would be great. Midtown Arts Districts we've had retreats and we've used the weekend and Sundays, and it doesn't have to be a Saturday. It could be 4 hours on Sunday afternoon, say either on the 3rd or the 10th of April. I was looking at my calendar.
Sunday afternoon? What about 10 or 10 to 2, something like that?
Sure.
A morning
Well, it
person.
depends if people have religious practices on Sunday. Or, we could have religious practices on Saturday. So that was why I chose the afternoon on either day.
Yeah,
And there's got to be food involved.
Oh, always food. Forget it.
weekend
Peter
is
is gonna bake brownies for us.
weekend definitely is better for us.
Okay.
Oh my God, are we gonna meet in person?
Yes. We're
Well,
gonna dare.
indeed, guys, it is possible that our next commission meeting, it might be in person. If it's not next month, the following one, but it looks like we are going back to in-person meetings.
It's good. And we need that.
Yay!
Yeah, well, the thing is
Not
that
that I
then you
don't
have
love
to
y'all
drive,
digitally.
park, and take more time. Like everything has the pros and cons. So a Sunday
Yes.
afternoon, yes, Peter.
Just so you know, I'm actually in Asheville, North Carolina, the weekend of the 2nd, 3rd, whatever
Okay.
that is.
What about the 10th?
I'm back.
You're back. What does the 10th look like for everybody?
10th of April?
Yeah.
That sounds like far from today. Can we look at something closer?
Okay. Lisa, what do we have in March? Don't we have something on that weekend? The
Which
27th
weekend
or
in March.
the 27th, are we open then? I don't know why that date is sticking in my head, but yeah, we could do it sooner.
Sunday, the 27th, how,
Yeah.
you cannot make it, Peter?
No, our center has a strategic planning retreat
Oh.
that whole afternoon, so.
Can we
Oh.
join it and maybe we can have two strategic planning?
Two for one. How about the 20th
That's a little fast.
of March? Yeah, I think we need time to kind of really look at this plan, think about it.
Okay. So you
This
cannot
would come
make it
really
by,
fast if we did April.
yeah, the 3rd, you say, Peter, that you are not here on the 3rd.
Correct, but the
10th.
10th looks good on my calendar and center calendar.
I'd book it.
Okay, April 10th, for the people present here looks fine. April 10th for that?
The only
Yeah.
thing is that we may have the distinguished artists thing that weekend. It's either gonna be the 2nd or the 9th. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I think Anne,
Okay.
you and
I'm
I,
gonna put that down, Susie. Thank you for telling me that, but that's on a Saturday.
yeah,
So I'll be there for that.
okay,
Is that's like 9 to 1 o'clock, something like that?
10 to 3, but it usually
10 to
doesn't
3.
last that long.
I know people get tired. So, I just would like to make a comment about this retreat. I think former board members, commission board members should be invited because they were so instrumental in helping create the plan. How does everyone feel about that?
I would love to have the more the merrier, but at the very beginning, at least if we are gonna talk about what the commission would like to, because it can get very long.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure, I see it more like strategic planning for us. And obviously we are not going to write anything on stone. It's just that we are going to put our priorities, and maybe then we're going to have other meetings coming after that in which we are going to gather more feedback and we can readjust whatever we come out in that retreat. Because anyway, I don't think that we are going to get everything done in one day. It's going to be a good day for us to really set our priorities and to see where we are going.
Okay.
But we need to do some follow-up. Yes, Susie.
I'm a little concerned, we had just talked about if we have other people that they can come and sit and listen to us. Yes, I do want the opinion of other commission members who are former commission members, but
That was the only point, not the public, but commissioner,
right. So
if they wanted to come.
can we make a distinction and say, okay, Linda Marston Reed, you used to be on the commission, you're allowed to talk, but Joe Smith can't. So
I'm leaning toward what Maria Elena is saying. A smaller, concentrated, just the group of commissioners banging through the plan like we talked about earlier, I think would be more effective. And then we can have a strategy in play that we could then present and discuss with the community, including the prior commissioners.
Peter?
Well, I'm going to throw out a different viewpoint. We do have an advisory council that we put into play. So it could be commissioners and advisory council members are invited to participate in this.
Well,
that
that's
would-
a middle point. That's a value middle point. Yeah.
It would limit it to, I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 people who were integral in creating this master plan. So I think that their voices would actually really benefit. the
I just really
conversation.
want to make sure that everybody understands it's a working meeting. And, just to be mindful of everybody's time. And, I'm totally for openness and transparency and listen to everybody, but I want this to be a working session. And, some limits need to be set. We can also set points of flexibility. I mean, I'm fine with a middle point if it works for us. I just think that if this is a working meeting for the commissioner, obviously the current commissioners have that mandate somehow. So we need to do that. People that is not now in the commission, they definitely are valued members of the community and part of our advisory board and had a lot to say, and we have a lot to take from that too. But I see a little bit of a difference between a working session and, you know, and that more open sphere of, but we can, yeah, we can negotiate. Somebody was raising, it was
Hey,
you,
I just
Lisa?
want
Yeah.
to, I want to agree with you because I really think that this retreat is an opportunity for the commission to turn the page on the plan and move it into a new phase of implementation. And that we talked about at the beginning of this meeting, the challenges of it are really very, very large. And we really need to be able to really troubleshoot it. And, the prior commissioners have done their work, and now we're turning the page. This commission is about implementation strategies behind it.
And I think having an in-person meeting, and we haven't had many of those, and getting back into interacting with one another in an in-person situation, I would support what Lisa is saying. I would like to invite Ruth Ann, though.
Oh, yeah.
We can put Ruth Ann among the exceptions. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure we can do that. So I'm gonna propose that we definitely make a vote.
No,
I
look at
guess,
him.
oh, Julio, we need to tell you the story now. Yeah.
Later.
Okay, later.
You can listen to it online.
Yeah,
You
Julio,
must be in a different time zone.
I'm gonna call, you are on mute, Julio.
Did I miss something?
Okay. No, Julio, welcome. We are gonna vote. Please, you say yes, okay? And then I will explain you later.
Yeah, I like to hear the proposal before I vote.
Of course. We are trying to put together a retreat so we can go deep into reading the master plan to set our priorities and start drafting our implementation plan, or to take from what we have there, what are our next steps.
Okay.
And also, a little bit on the how, who, when, what, and all that kind of thing. So 1 hour a month, obviously is too little for that. So we are planning a retreat on April 10. It's a Sunday afternoon at the LGBTQ Center in Uptown Kingston. It seemed to me that around, I don't know, from 1 to 5 or 6 or something like that, Peter?
Yeah, our space is booked from 10 to 12, so anything after 12.
Okay, so let's say 1:30, or maybe 2. So everybody had lunch, the coffee, and nobody's hungry. Peter is gonna bake some brownies for the afternoon, but I can bring some stuff too. So the idea is that we, the commissioners, are gonna be there, and eventually we will have a few exceptions, like Ruth Ann. She's not a commissioner, but she has been definitely very, very important in the creation and adjusting and all the process for the master plan. I agree with you, Ward, that Ruth Ann should be there as long as she can, obviously, because I know that the poor one has like a lot on her plate, but we can invite her and encourage her to join us. But beyond that, I don't know. Pardon?
Will Kit be there?
Will Kit be there? That's a good question.
Of course. It goes without saying, it would seem to me.
And fine. Who else do you think, guys, should be part of this? Julio, what I was saying is that because we want to have a working session, maybe not to bring all the advisory boards or all the former members, so we can really try to advance as much as possible. It's going to be just the first meeting. I don't know if we will have other retreats, but obviously we are gonna continue working on that. Yes, Susie?
I think it should just be the current commissioners and Ruth Ann and Kit.
And Kid,
And then, then we can have,
afterward, yeah.
ancillary meetings after that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I wanted to call for a vote just in case, so we can make that decision and it's official. So we want to keep it like that. I don't know, do we have to motion second and all the thing, or we can just vote?
Well, I'm curious, Jeff, because we have Rennie at our meeting, how you're feeling about this, Rennie, and whether you have, you feel that you should really be there.
It depends. Peter, would the brownies have pecans or not?
No, but they'll be cooked in a venue that has peanuts.
Oh,
in
we
it,
can have
so-
both.
Sorry.
No,
Might they
I
be,
won't. If there's no
adult?
nuts in the brownies, I won't be there.
might they have another ingredient that goes into brownies?
Oh,
Well-
yeah. Come on, Peter.
Well, I'll just tell you, currently I'm making mine with their kind of Mexican brownies, really spicy and lots of vanilla and,
Hmm.
so that's the direction. If that
Well,
is the
I don't think that's
enticing
what
things for
Susie
you,
was
Rennie.
asking.
Yeah, I don't think she was either.
I think you're going back to the 70s, Susie.
The gluten
Those kind of brownies.
Wacky brownies.
I'm
they
glad
do
that you
food.
asked for, because I think, Rennie, that it will be very valuable to have you there too.
Okay,
I will bring pagans if you want. You can add it to the.
I put it on my calendar, so we'll see. I need to check with the commander in chief here.
Well, and you know what? Even if you cannot make it for the full session, whatever part of the session you can be there, I think is gonna be valuable. And I think that we can offer that to Rudan too, to not have her, because she will be inclined. Oh, okay. I mean, I would love to have her constantly there, but I would like to give her also the opportunity to say, listen, I can do it for 2 hours only, or
Well,
something.
it's obviously up to her how long she feels that she's going to stay. It's not like we're giving her permission, but
No,
I
but
think
I don't
that,
want her to feel bad,
but I think that Rennie is going to be leading the Pledge of Allegiance in the beginning.
Okay, so then
I
we
drop out
agree-
too many words. You don't want me to do it.
So just to make clear, we all agree. Julio, do you feel that you can vote in support of that?
Yes,
Okay, great. So all in favor? Oh, Rennie, you cannot vote. That's true. Whoa. Thank you.
It's
Nobody against?
unanimous.
Okay,
It's
good.
enough. It's fine. It's fine.
Perfect. April 10, 2 p.m. LGBTQ Center, Uptown Kingston. So we will forward the invitation to.
Can we make that 1 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock?
Okay, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I think 1 to 5 rather than going past 5, because
I think
5
1 to
o'clock is
4
a
is even
cocktail
better.
hour.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 4. You do your best work in a couple of hours, and then after that, you're tired and
yeah. I agree. 1 to 4. Okay.
4:30.
you're tough.
Okay. Perfect. Okie dokie. So, but then again, we have until that day. I really want everybody to take notes, to read the whole thing, come with questions, come with suggestions, and, so we know what we are talking about. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Great. Thank you, everyone. So.
I just want to say, if anyone in preparation for this, if you're looking through the master plan and you have some thoughts, happy, you can share them ahead of time too. We don't have to wait necessarily, until the meeting occurs.
Yeah, that's true. We can share some emails and that. Great, guy. Thank you. So I'm gonna move forward if it's okay with you all. So we have the committee's update. Unfortunately, the executive committee couldn't meet. I was having like a very crazy month, and Well, half of the meeting, half of the committee met today, but we were talking about precisely how to discuss, well, not how to discuss, but to really invite everybody to read deeply on the master plan. I need my coffee today. So we talk about definitely have everybody setting their priorities for the master plan, how we're gonna move forward with this. I didn't bring up the subject of that we need to discuss the new members. We are short on one membership. We have an open seat, and I think that we should look into that. And by the way, now I'm sorry, I'm mixing things. The same way that boards say we may not need to meet to discuss those things. So guys, you can forward emails to me with different ideas, and Peter, until we can get on a day that works for both of us. I don't know if you would like to, maybe we can have emails back and forth, and also with Brent. Brent also, he's very eager to talk about the amendments to the resolution, but I definitely would like to keep that on the back burner. So we have like a lot at this point with the master plan. So anyway, I'm just thinking out loud, sharing with you guys, because I don't have any formal thing to report on that. And for the DEIA committee, I started talking with Kit about the possibilities, or to see different possibilities of implementation for some of the goals that we put in the master plan. But if we are having this retreat, I really would like to dig deeper on that in that day, because I just started conversations. I think I shared with you guys that I mentioned that also to the mayor, and he was really receptive to hear more about that, but I don't have anything concrete to present to them yet. I just want to, I was just so far testing the waters to see what was the willingness, if they see the need, if they also understand that that's a priority, because definitely it's a priority for us since we added to the master plan. So I'm just having different conversations. I'm planning also to regroup with the task force, with the members of the task force that we have previously, to see if they want to continue supporting the master plan. And going back to the conversation that we had before, that the master plan doesn't end with the commissioners only. We have bunch of members of the community out there that definitely we would like to partner with them in the implementation plan. So I'm trying to do that, and I would like to invite, I think that we have and you were in one of the task forces. Susie, you were in another one, and I shared the other one, and the other one was Lara, right? So we can put that on Lisa. So, okay, so do you think, guys, that we should somehow regroup those task forces on each one of our sides to bring them eventually to the master plan?
Well, that's what I said before, was that, we have these 4 compartments that we.
Yeah, no, I know you say that, but my question, I guess that my question is, are you willing to take the lead again with those groups and make the connection and see how are they and what is their level of commitment at this point, if they would like to continue or not, just to.
I'm happy to, connect with them and see if they're happy to move forward. I don't know if I want to chair another task force, though.
Oh, no. We are not going to chair, because it's not a task force. It's just to have them somehow ready to but not ready to go. But to
Yeah.
tell them, listen, and also to give them the update, the master plan in case they didn't know, or if we lost the contact with them, you know, the master plan was approved. We would like to continue establishing those collaborations with the community. You were part of this task force. We wanted to know if we can continue, you know, counting with you on this, if you want to join the meetings, or, you know, just to see how is the temperature out there, because some people already forgot that we were working on the master plan. So
Yeah, no,
that's why-
I'm happy to do that. I think, you know, I'll connect with the people who were on the task force, see what their level of engagement might want to be,
Perfect.
and just to see if they're, you know,
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be like just right away because we're working on this. It's just that I wanted to put that out there. And I have you all the people that were in that task force, I know that you have regular contact with them. So I guess that you already can tell us the level of commitment that eventually, yeah.
Well, you know, I'd just comment discreetly, or what you would call, without having to call people together. We have this, the statue of Harriet Tubman coming to Kingston, and that is going to be a real measurable event. And I've already been in contact with Harambe, my Kingston Kids, Liz from Broadway Arts, Drew, of course, from CCE, and they're all really excited about this. So when we talk about collaboration of different arts groups, this includes the library, of course, Mad Draw, Arts Commission. This is, you know, a great example of something we're going to be doing in the next
Yep.
year. So
And
yeah,
they were part of that task force, right?
they were. I mean, those were my members, and Lisa, of course, because Lisa co-chaired with me and did a lot of the work. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Lisa, and I know I'm not gonna put it on you with the task force, but for instance, you know, you are already doing those contacts with the county, and I think that they were part of that task force, so it doesn't need to be exactly that. Oh, Barry is saying something on the chat. Yes, Barry. You can take some pictures also for documentation if we sign the, yeah, no, you're right. Perfect. So Lisa, you are already having those connections with the county.
Yes.
And basically, and with obviously the draw. So, and Lara, I know that she's definitely supportive, very supportive of the master plan.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I imagine, I was refraining from even mentioning this because I thought maybe it'd be a good point of discussion at the retreat, really, about engaging the people that have participated in the process, in terms of like how we end up strategizing and implementing. If there's going to be a number of committees being formed, it would be great that people who are on those task forces and, you know, other meetings that had taken place to see if they want to be interested and keep them engaged in the process. I think we always need to keep that in mind and be sensitive to that. I mean, you know, in the master plan, there's all these potential partners listed under each action plan. I mean, we'll be culling all of these lists. I feel like we're going to have a
and
huge
even more.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even more, of course,
Yeah.
of course. And also all the people, because I remember, Word remind me today at noon, you know, all the people that was part of the engage of the master plan. What was the name? The advisory.
Engage Kingston.
Yeah, in Engage Kingston, but it was like a pack, something like that. There was,
PAC.
could you repeat, Susie?
It was the PAC.
The PAC, exactly. So all those folks that were already involved in the master plan, I guess that we are going to re-engage with them. Yes, after our retreat, but I just wanted not to wait just after that if eventually we can, activate those contacts for those that are not in regularly in contact with us. So that's what I have so far. And since you already mentioned the Harriet Tubman, do you want to give us some update where we are on those wonderful connections that I know you're shaking everybody?
Well, Lisa and Susie and others are working on this too. And we've been in touch with a lot of people in the community about placement. We've had a lot of really good ideas. I went out and took a lot of photographs, which I shared with many of you, and many of you gave your feedback, which I really appreciate. The county is very interested in this statute. So that meeting will determine potentially its placement. Now, from the Black community in Kingston, I get a unanimous, not unanimous, but majority on Empowerment and Justice Center. That's wanting that as a site. So that's one conversation with the county. I sometimes wonder if the building, the county building, to the left side of the building, there is a space and there's also lighting there. Our concern is safety for the statue and visibility and a place where a lot of people go. And, so Broadway was our first desire, but the Old Dutch Church was another thing that was mentioned by several people. I think it would be wonderful. They'd be open to it. I know that. But the next step is to meet with the county. Susie's written a wonderful letter, fundraising letter. We already have a lot of pledges for this thing. And I think once the letter goes out, a lot of people are going to want to be involved. So yeah, go ahead, Peter.
What about the county courthouse?
Well, yeah, I took a picture of that too. I sent that to everybody. There is a problem, I think, with the forklift, getting the forklift in through the gate. And that's the issue. I talked to Vinny from Art Fabricators, and he's willing to move this statue for us, but it's got to be on a hard surface. So believe me, and Ward looked at the church across the street from the Old Dutch Church. They almost have a little plaza in front of the church.
Yeah, that's true.
So there are some good opportunities. It's just we will find where it's going to go within the next 4 weeks. That's what I feel. And I feel the county, I copied some of you in from that committee to the nicest letter I got from the chief of staff from the county, just saying, we love this idea. We want to be helpful. We want to know what we can do. We'll call the Department of Public Works. We're with you. Whatever it is, we're with you. So, hey.
Perfect. Perfect.
So,
Perfect.
There'll be more.
And the distinguished sorry guys, I just realized, I just look at the clock.
It's late.
Yeah, it's late, but I think that we extended the Distinguished Artist Award nomination date. Susie, do you have any update on that? Where we are in the process?
Yeah, she extended it until, I think it was Monday.
I think, yeah, it was.
So, yeah, we have confirmed panelists, Laura Ward, who Brent suggested. She is a choreographer. Sarah Reeder, who works for the Novo Foundation. She is she's a theater person and a writer. Brian Mahoney for continuity, and he's the only old guy on the panel.
He'd love that, Susie. I won't repeat
it. Dominic Hiddo, who is a visual artist, and Kai and Lisa, help me. I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh, Kai, say yes. Oh,
Yeah.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, so we're looking at either April 2nd or April 9th to do the
Panel. Okay.
panel. And I don't know, I didn't connect with Kit before she left in terms of how many we received. I think it was probably about 20. We had talked about using the nominations from the last time if we felt that there were not enough, you know,
Candidates or-
qualified nominations. But, you know, once I'll talk to Kit on Monday and see if she can forward those to me. And if I feel that there's not enough qualified nominations, we'll include the ones from the last time.
What's enough, Susie? How do you decide what enough nominations are?
I would like at least 20. I mean, we've had like 20 in the past number of years. I think the last time we had, I think 13, and then we did include the ones from the previous year. So, I mean, I'd love to have 50 nominations, but then I think we'd need a longer time to
It's gonna be long.
make the decision.
Why is having more better?
Oh, it's not. I'm just saying it would be really fabulous if we had that many people nominate people. I don't think more is better. I'm just saying it would be nice if there were so many people that knew about this and were so excited about it that they wanted to do it.
Yeah, I think that there were more applications coming. Don't remember the number. I think that Kit told me, but yeah, I definitely need more coffee. It seemed to me that there were enough, but you know, we will see. Yeah, she's back on Monday, so will be good to know, you know, how that is gonna happen. And also the date when the date for the panel can be set also will be good to know. Maybe by the time for the two options that you mentioned, maybe by the time of the retreat, the panel may have done.
Well, I
its
hope
work.
to know by the, by the middle of the week.
But next week, yeah.
Yeah, by the middle of next week, what the date is, and, so that way I can get the nominations out to the panel and they can figure out.
We can
A
start reading.
suggestion was made, and I don't know if somebody drops out this year, that maybe we invite the distinguished artists from the previous, that we would have maybe Laura Hope sit on the committee, because she was the awardee the last time.
Well, that's an interesting proposition. What do you think, guys?
No comment. Okay, well, let's just go with what we have for now. And
Well, maybe we can circulate another email and ask, do you think, guys, that the former distinguished artist could join the panel, or is not appropriate?
I think I'm concerned about discrimination against old people.
I actually don't think it's appropriate. I don't know.
Okay.
I just feel like they've been the distinguished artists. They've done their thing. I think we should have a committee that is not connected with the program. They're the
Yeah.
committee. They choose. That's my own opinion.
Okay, so what it looks like, people now is nodding. Okay, I think that we got the sense. So maybe we will have the panel only. Yeah, it sounds fair.
And,
Sounds fair.
Anne and I will be there to represent the aging population.
We don't vote. We
You
just,
don't vote, but you're gonna be there. Yeah, and I think that Kit is gonna be there too, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, guys, I'm so looking forward for, okay, we pack it. It's 1 minute to 6. That sounds good. So again, if something comes out before we meet on the 10th of April, please, what? How often does this meeting take? Oh, it's every month, Barry. We meet every second Thursday of the month at 4:30. And you're more than welcome to join us. Please be in the lookup for the information about the meetings in the calendar of the City Hall, because it might be in person, or it may be still on Zoom. We will see. Guys, anybody wants to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'm
And wants to go? Yeah.
um,
Julia?
hello? Yeah, listen, I thought the meeting, I had it on the calendar as 5:30.
Oh, no, 4:30, my dear. 4:30 to 6.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I'll make a permanent entry in the calendar, 4:30 to 6. It won't happen again. But thank you all. Thank you. That means I can have.
Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you then on the 10th. Please keep those emails rolling.
Okay.
Okay?
Bye.
Have a good day.